bigger than anything we can imagine.
But he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky.
You leap into people to help them or someone around them, changing history for the better. No matter what happens, I am going to be with you every step of the way until we get you home.
There's a starman waiting,
What do I do?
What do? You're the getaway man! Get us away, man!
You can do this, all right? Put it in first and punch it. You have 2 cop cars on his hill. You need to lose them.
Well, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whoever, wherever, whatever, whenever you are. This is sadly the fall finale for Quantum Leap, episode, season 2022, season 1. A little sad, but it was a kind of a letdown in a sense, but I'll say why. Not in the sense of we're not going to do what the Quantum Leap podcast does. Hello, where I'm not going to rant for 10 minutes and then cover it up with 50 minutes of I think I like this, but I don't think I like this. I think I like this, but I believe that you like this, but I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm going to agree with you. But again, before we start, like, comment, subscribe, share. Enjoy that good madness. I was resting. I just finished watching the episode again for the second time. Initial thoughts of the episode. It was very good, very touching, very emotional, very Breakfast Club, but more 2002 Breakfast Club, but in the sense of 1996. Ben was being very emotional because, again, he was having connections with some of the kids. Again, I'm not gonna say their names. I'm gonna say their characteristics. A lot more easier. We have the smart one, we have the angry one, and we have the sad one. Sad one being, the person that. Let's just get into it. Ben wakes up in 1996. Now in 1996, he is in the body of a 16-year-old. He's running away from a youth camp. Addison comes in later on and tells them, they're all gonna disappear of heat exhaustion. They're just gonna die in the woods. Ben gets emotional because, again, these are all children in 1996. Not exactly when in 1996, but at least they put up the number. Boom, with the songs. Again, I can't put the songs because that costs money. Ben also goes to help them understand each other. This is, again, just a brief review of, not a review, just a brief overview of the episode. Tries to help the kids. They get stuck in the woods. They find each other, and then we'll get to that point. The B plot is that while they're trying to find Janice Calavici, they get trapped in an elevator, and we learn some things, and we have some developments grow. Now, before we start, I want to say, in the beginning when Addison came out and told them, hey, this is what I love. Ben, when he started, when Addison came in, what happened? I couldn't see you last leap. Do you know that what happened? And he said Janice Calavici, unlike the other podcast that said, he never said what happened. He never identified the demon. Yes, he did. It's called Janice Calavici. Doesn't know who Janice Calavici is, but that's what she said. Then he started getting a little bit of a flashback of the night that he leaped. Because we're trying to find out what happened. Why did he leap? And what was the purpose of it? We'll get to that at the end. Hello to that one person watching the review. We see a little bit of a fragment of the memory of Ben talking about, are you sure you want to do this? Are you really prepared to do this? And we get fragments. When we come back, Jen, being the security officer, doing the job of tracking people, not doing the job of hacking. Some podcasts tend to forget that, yes, they both know internet stuff. Ian knows about computers and diagnostics and all the like, and Jen is based on finding people, tracking people, and learning to go around it. Jen thinking on the fly. We use a lot of energy in our place. They finally figured out that Janice has her own imaging chamber and her own holo controller. Jen figures out if we're using a lot of energy, then she has to use it as well. So she does her job as a security officer, finds it. Okay, boom, we found it. And when Magic says, how did you figure that out? Well, a shark is always looking for a shark. Wow, Jen actually doing her job as a security officer, unlike some other podcaster, who said they don't. Now, if I'm sort of sounding like a rant, I apologize, but I love this show. I love the concept of it. I love how we're going to go deeper into the lives of time travel and stuff like that. Not because of Sam Beckett. Sam Beckett's a good core. But when you have a podcast specifically made to talk about Quantum Leap, and then you crap on it for so long, you thought no one was going to crap on you back? Now, continue on. As Jen and Magic find coordinates to find out Janice, they get stuck in the elevator because Janice, who is still in storyline, connected inside Ziggy, connected inside the computers, heard the whole conversations. That was their bad. They should have learned that. For me, it was stupid for them to talk that out loud, but again, it's exposition and talking with people. I get that. After that happening, they get locked in the elevator. We, weirdly enough, start finding out about Jen's dad. She got a phone call from him earlier. She ignored it. We find out he was a con man. He never listens to anybody. Magic just basically says, look, he's just lonely. He's just lonely. He wants to talk to his daughter. Dad, or just try to find something. In the end result, I did like that Jen, and I don't have a father. I didn't grow up without a father. He died from the 80s. And to have the fact that even if your dad's like a crap guy or a con artist and a gambler or whatever, he's just, if he's lonely, he wants to talk to your dad. Really just get to know him. So I did like that. I don't care if that is it's a set device for the future. I want to put that out there right now. For that one person watching, what is your thoughts on Jen's journey? Right? If you want to. Ian, during the lockdowns, going insane, being sarcastic, just putting it out there. Even Magic's like, are you done just spouting out? Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, Ian has a lot of responsibilities. The project, the different divisions, the computer, everything else. So Ian is not just the computer guy. He is basically the manager of all departments and controlling them. Again, that other podcast, they had an interview with that person and they didn't. Anyway, they found out, but by the time they got over there, Janice was already gone, which is smart for an evil villain. Okay, I heard you guys what the plot of you guys are going to do to me, so therefore I'm going to stall you guys so I can get my stuff, which you got key components of the imaging chamber and the holo controllers. So she didn't take the whole imaging chamber, she took key components. So maybe she's going to a new location, maybe we'll get the theories in a second. Then we go back to the A plot. Ben is trying to help find these people. We find out the histories of them. One is a drug addict that's trying to go to Alaska to get away from drugs, even though sadly there's a lot of drugs in Alaska. Native people up there are hurting even now to this day. One wants to go to Vegas and work in the casinos, and just because she has anger problems. Her dad was very abusive. The mom died young, just like Ben. The third is very common, even though not that many people didn't think that well. But guess what? I grew up in the 90s, and I did watch The Real World San Francisco, where it was the biggest thing in the world, where a gay man openly was on MTV. A gay man with HIV on top of that. So seeing this girl that was 1996 and saying that her parents, and she was a cutter too. By the way, cutting was a thing. It was not modernized by media until like the 2000s, but I met people personally who have cut. And it's just trying to express themselves and trying to release that pent up anxiety, because again, even now in 2022, psychotherapy is trying to do its best with the human mind, but we're still leaps and bounds away to where we get there. And she was cutting herself because her whole family, who was super religious, by the way, sent her because being gay was, a coping mechanism by many therapists that they sent her to, which that's what I mean. Therapy back in the 80s, 70s, and 90s, even though they thought they were advanced, were still being biased with gender. If you love somebody of the same gender, therapy is like, oh, you're crazy, or maybe it's a sickness, or even now we discuss that. We debate that over and over again. Now, they get to the woods. They're trying to get to a cabin because apparently on the map there's a cabin that's there. They find out that the youth camp covered it up. They took the car, slashed all the tires, ran away. But in the timeline, the fixed timeline, they lost the car was sent for insurance for lost. They said that the group went off by themselves, supervised, and then they got lost by heat dehydration. In the timeline, all of them went south and split up and died one by one. So Ben did not want them to die because they want them to be with their family and everything else. They see wolves, and I know that one person, which I forget your name, and I'm sorry for that, but nothing against you, I just forget your name, was saying about vicious wolves. Oh, why do you gotta represent wolves in the forest? And I like that somebody said, well, wolves are vicious. Well, I know that, but they shouldn't be represented that way. I'm like, you're in the woods in the 90s. What else did you want them to rent? Because they rented some wolves. This is a production company that said, we need wolves. Can we rent wolves? Yeah, this is a wolf company. I don't think in now, 2022, there is a bobcat or mountain lion renting company where you can rent a mountain lion or bobcat. A lot cheaper to rent 3 wolves than 3 bobcats or mountain lions. So I understand why they did it with wolves. It's a bad representation because, again, wolves are not inherently offensive unless you get inside their bubble of living. Then they will kill you because they want to defend themselves. That's natural. All animals do that. Bears, wolves, and such like. And you know what's even more dangerous? Where you don't hit that like button. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that share. Leave a comment down below. And if you're watching live with that one person that's watching, thank you. Gracias. Welcome to Rican Reactions. I hope you're not the Quantum Leap podcast and being haters, because they were. I'll get to that at the end. After getting dehydrated, after trying to push each other together, they get to a part where they said, Ben's like, well, there's a river. Let's get to the river. Let's get some water in us. And when they get to the river, there's no river because, again, it's 1996, drought. That's California. Nevada, mostly. Ben starts freaking out, and then they realize that, I did like that one thing. Oh, that's a perfect circular thing. Is that natural? No, that's a water thing. They also show a little bit of his memory, that he knows what he's doing, and he's scared of what he's going to do before the jump. This is memories the day of the jump, when he jumped, mind you. Then he kept freaking out, but they found the lodge, which I did like that. They did find the lodge. It was very stocked up. I was scared of that. I'm like, this place is stocked up, watered up, has electricity, has a generator. Where the hell is the person? Like, they're living under the grid, and I like that. They're living under the grid and everything like that, but I was kind of scared that the person would come in like, where are you in my house? I'm going to, They get the bond more, and the one that was scared, not scared, but running away because everyone was scared of her being gay. Not scared, just judgmental. Had an uncle, and she kept saying that. She said that twice. Oh, I have an uncle. He's really cool. He works in TV, and she said that in the cabin. Oh, I have an uncle. Let's see if I can call him. He works in TV. Wow, plot device. When someone says one thing and then says it again, and then it comes back in the third. Unlike another podcast that, I don't understand why they're saying this. Well, he said the uncle only twice. It doesn't make any sense. It does make sense. It's called plot. I'm in a bad mood because I like those guys in the Quantum Leap podcast, but they just suck on reviews. No offense. Now, they find and they get caught by the youth group gets there, and they're freaking out. Because once again, that part made me laugh. For me, I'm a dark humor person. When they roll up, the whole thing is lit up by candles, and they're blowing it off. Boom, 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 boom. Like, even I saw, I'm like, wait, what the hell's going on? There's like a really big draft wind, or someone's in there. Once they got inside, they saw that the smoke was turning off of the candles. That kind of gave it away. The one that, by the way, did break her leg, and then she fell into a snake hole, and they did a splint on her. Sacrificed herself so that everyone can run. They had a chance to go, but Ben's like, no, this cannot be the leap. This cannot be just the leap where all three of us leave and only one goes back. And by the way, the youth camp, if anyone's seen any Batman animated adventures, I did like that they bring up the box, that in the parking lot, there are little boxes a la Vietnam cages, and just like the Batman episode where he loses his memory and then he's stuck in like a weird camp and then he's in a box. I just remember that automatically. I was telling a friend that. They realize the best thing is to find help. So when she finally gets back to the place, she's like, oh, you go inside the box. They're interrogating her. They even like touched her splint and like twisted it and thought it was fake, but it was real. Then boom, right when she was getting inside the box and she was about to get traumatized again, because anyone inside a sweat box for a week, because they said that they were going to leave her in there for a week, was news crew came in. Whoa. What are you doing? Hey, this is inhumane. Before that, we get to know the characters even more. I wanted to talk about the guy who was a drug addict. He did not do any more drugs when he got to the camp, but because the camp kept on messing him, and a guy named Ringer with the hat that would ring his head, and the other groups, which was really got me mad. I'm like, you guys are all in a camp, and you're getting terrorized by the group, but you guys are still cliques fighting against each other. If you guys united as a group, as a family, as a community, then you probably would fix each other. But again, kids. He was implied that he probably tried to off himself twice. No, the second time he did OD himself. So this was a chance to get away, because he told himself if he goes back, he won't survive, which I felt bad. I met a lot of people that OD'd, and it's a real thing. And to the families of them, I love you guys. But I wanted to put that out there. He came back, even with the fear, knowing that if he came back, he would probably die. He still came back. The woman that planned the whole thing out, who had anger problems in Vegas, still came back, because that was a friendship. Because of that, time changed. The uncle did an expose, because he worked in a news station, did an expose on the family, not on the family, on the youth camp. All of them had many titles and indictments on child endangerment, and all three of them changed history slightly. The one that wanted to go to Vegas became a manager of a casino. The guy who had an addiction problem moved back, had a wife, couple kids, and made a youth home for troubled youth. And the smart one, who had a splint, became a rocket scientist, because she was the smart one. So and they did say they did have ups and downs, but they were still friends with each other, which could be like a good jump off for their own, in a sense, like pilot episode where those three are growing up, and maybe they leapers jump into them during periodic times in life. But again, then when they said we could be friends forever, and by the way, Ben had an imaginary girlfriend, which he just told everybody, it's, I have an imaginary girlfriend. And you're 16, you're coping with things. The smart one said I had an imaginary family myself. So to the Quantum Leap podcast, yes, you can have an imaginary friend at 16. Yes, it can be possible where people who understand you as friends and accept you as a person, just because of your heartaches and your weird things, can accept that you have an imaginary girlfriend. Sorry, entitlement, like, you guys don't understand that. Now, we get to the point that was spicy, that people say it was kind of a letdown for me, but a little bit of it. When they said they promised to be friends forever, he remembers the promise that he made on the night of the leap. He tells Janice in his memory that he has to go back, he has to fix this, and he's like, are you really, really sure? And the last, before he leaped, he says, I remember why I leapt, Addison, because of you, to protect you. And then he leaps, and episode ends right there. I saw the preview for the fall. That's coming in back in January 2nd. We'll talk about that in a second right now. As a whole, out of 5, this episode was very emotional. 4.2 out of 5. Because, again, it was a good episode. Little small details here and there. Great cuts, great songs, great storyline. I'm not going to crap on it. There's a storyline in the beginning, a eureka moment, another eureka moment, boom, boom, boom. It was storyline structured well. I just wish there was a little bit more project time, like a little bit more Ian thing, a little bit more Jen. Again, everyone's getting their own things. Magic got his own special. Jen was kind of getting his own special. Ian is doing his thing too. I like that a little bit more. That's all. The leap was good. I love the leap, and I love how it connects. The cons was that the pros, emotional, hit the heart, teenage angst in the 1990s. They got it pretty much accurate. It does hurt to find help, and if you need help, find help. If you find and need help of anything, find help. There's no shame in that. I want to say the theories now is that, okay, we now know that it might not go into Sam. Now we know that the theory, Ben is trying to leap to save Addison to something of other is going to happen when Addison dies or is in grave danger, and Janice told Ben, and Ben went to leap. The problem is, who the hell's the evil Leaper? Who's Leaper X? Why is that happening? Is Leaper X the person trying to stop Addison? Did someone else send somebody in there to stop Ben, to stop from Addison? Is saving Addison the end of the world? You save Addison, and because you save Addison, time changes to such a degree that the world ends? That's why that Leaper X was sent out? Maybe Lothos was really trying to stop Sam because he knew that once Sam does the full round, something bad's going to happen anyway, so they're trying to stop that. There's a lot of questions out there. I did love that Ben is trying to save the woman that he loves. I get that. An introvert will sacrifice his own life, his own soul, to save the woman that he loves, or the person that they love. I just want Sam to be there at the end of it. There has to be a Sam reference, because if we do this whole season, and you're talking about Sam once or twice every other episode, and you don't bring him up at the end of season, like episode 18, that's going to be a problem. You have him in the same company, NBC. You just gave him his own show. Give him a buttload of money for a cameo. Even if he doesn't like the story, buttload of money. Cameo. Do it. This was the Quantum Leap 2022 episode 8 review. Thank you for watching, that one person. I appreciate you very much. I want to say thank you for everyone that's watching. Thank you for that will watch, like, subscribe, comment, review. Leave your thoughts down below. Leave your own theories on the second season, which is coming back January 2nd. I am sorry that I ranted a little bit on the Quantum Leap podcast, but again, I listened to the whole hour. First 10 minutes ranting. The other 50 minutes of like, I don't like this, but I kind of like this, but I don't like this, but I kind of like, I went back. I didn't write this down, but I watched the episodes and I had some notes. And I listened to all the notes and the pros and cons. And I told you the pros and cons. But I enjoyed the episode because it's something new. Because I am a fan. I'm not a fan who's taking money, puts a name on a podcast, and then says something about it. But doesn't really want to be honest about it. But says 60% of it I crap on it. And 40% of it I like it. But you're going to mix it in a weird ice cream swirl of it. Pros, cons, basic thoughts, hot takes, final thoughts. See how I structured that? And I have no money, no video, audio clips, none of that stuff. And yet I know that if you're going to like something, you like it. If you're going to hate something, you hate it. Stop saying you're a Quantum Leap podcast when in the fact that you crap on something throughout the whole episode. And then when you do an interview, and I've watched your interviews, oh my God, you're so awesome. You're so great. That was so good in the video. But you go back to the thing. I didn't really understand her voice. The kids weren't really that believable. I didn't. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Know that I will be honest. I'll see you back January 2nd or January 3rd, depending what happens. Time is a fickle thing. Podcasts that try to put names out there, the Quantum Leap podcast, and crap on a show that I love so much, it's YouTube. As long as I say no bad words, I can go all in and be honest. Not be a heckler, but be honest. Tighten your ship up. And let's find Sam. And let's bring Ben home. Good night, everybody. Outro time.
This is bigger than anything we can imagine.
But he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a starman waiting in the sky.
You leap into people to help them or someone around them, changing history for the better. No matter what happens, I am going to be with you every step of the way until we get you home.